The channel. If you are a first timer to the channel, then welcome to you guys. I am just going to, I forgot to put on my mic, so let's get this thing installed. Give me a quick second. There we go, microphone's on. Welcome to the channel, guys. This is the watch list for Monday, February 27th. I send these watch lists out to you guys for free every single day. I do daily watch lists, weekly swings, monthly swings, so make sure you stay tuned for all those. I also put out a ton of learning tools and a ton of learning videos for you guys, and it's all for free. Okay, and I want to go through a couple things before we jump into this watch list here. The first thing, I'm on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold. You can get a hold of me there. You can follow me there. You can DM me there. You can ask questions down below. You can also ask questions in the live chat as we are going through this, okay? That's why I started doing these live, so you guys can actually ask the questions while we are live. So you can do that, or if you're watching this after the live presentation, then you can just use the comment section below. You can also leave comments or ask questions in the Discord. The link for the Discord is down in the description below. It's free to join the Discord. There's 95% of that Discord is free. There is a paid membership portion of it. Within that paid membership, you get a ton of great value. You get one-on-ones with me. You get a 1-hour strat course that I've created. You get the top 5 every day from these lists that I create for you guys. There's a live trading bot in that room that gives you setups throughout the day on tickers like SPY, QQQ, DIA, Disney, Tesla, NEO, and a bunch of others. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there as well, a Strat indicator that I've created for you guys. So make sure you are checking all that out. And all that stuff can be purchased separately as well. It doesn't have to be purchased with the membership. The membership is $50 a month, or you buy 2 months, you get that 3rd month free. So make sure you're checking that out. And the last thing, guys, this screen that you see here, okay, this screen that you're looking at, this is TradingView. I use TradingView to chart everything that I do. You're going to need something like this if you're new to trading. Down, again, in the description below, there's a link. You get a free 30-day trial to TradingView with that link, and then if you decide to use it, you get up to $30 off of that subscription. So make sure you are checking out that and taking advantage of that as well. Let's go through this list. The first one we've got on the list is Fubo. So Fubo has a 2 down that finished green. And we're going to look for this thing to trend back to the upside. So a 2 candle is a directional candle. So you need to notice these number signs here. That's all part of the indicator that I've created for you guys, as is this time frame continuity. The yellow inside bars are also part of that. I basically took all the Strat indicators and wrapped them into one for you guys. So Fubo has this 2 down that finished green. And every time we have a 2 down and it finishes green, I'm always going to look for this thing to trend back to the upside. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here. We're going to look for calls at $2.32, first target at $2.36. And then the other thing I want to point out here, guys, are these 2 pink lines. Those represent an inside bar on the weekly. Okay, so I've marked those out already. This yellow circle also tells me that as well. So we're going to look to break out of this yellow, or outside of the weekly inside bar as well on this, okay? We'll move on to Disney. Disney, same setup, 2 down, finish green. And this is what I mean, guys. When you have a 2 down that finishes green, just like this one, we looked for Disney to go up on Friday, and it didn't. And that's okay. We play probabilities. And every strategy and every trade that we look at is based off of a probability. Now, does that probability work out? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's telling me there's a high probability that it does, but it doesn't always happen that way. Trading is a business of probabilities, okay? And that's exactly what we're looking here. We have a 2 down green. If it triggers here at $100.43, we're going to look for calls, just like we would have here and just like we would have here, but it didn't happen that way. Okay, so we're going to look for calls on Disney. We're going to look for it to trend back to the upside. $100.43 is our trigger. If I'm looking for strike prices for this, I'm looking at, I don't think they would have a $100.50 strike, but I'd be looking at a 101 or a 102. That's what I would take, and I would take a Friday expiry, okay? And then first target is 102.05. You mark your triggers and targets on the higher time frame, and then you're going to want to manage this on a lower time frame. And that's what I do all the time. I set, and whether it's a daily or a 30 or a 15, I always hop down to the 5 to manage my trades. Okay, so let's move on to ticker symbol M. That's Macy's. Same thing, 2 down, finish green. We're going to look for calls at 2079. And this is actually, in reality, a 1-2-2 rev strat is what they call it. So it's basically a 2-2 reversal back to the upside, but we have an inside bar preceding it. So we're still going to look for those calls at 2079, and then we have the 2 targets marked out for you guys. AMD, 2 down green. We're looking for calls to go back to the upside, 78.81. The first target is also the trigger for the weekly. So if we hit first targets on the daily, that is going to trigger us to go 2 up on the week on AMD, and you could possibly change that into a swing trade. But this first target is also the trigger for the weekly. So it's a domino effect, and we talk about it, and you can say the hourly triggers the 4 hourly or whatever you want. But in this case, the daily triggers the weekly, okay? So it's a domino effect for us to trigger other triggers. It targets to trigger other triggers. Let's change the color of this. Actually, sorry, let's not. I missed that. Okay. Where's my escape? What we've got here, guys, is I thought it was just this inside bar. It's not. We're down here already. We have another 2 down green, but we have this gap. So again, 2 down green. We're going to look to trend to the upside. So we put our trigger at 133.48. And normally, what I tell you guys is your targets go to the tops of the preceding wicks. Well, not in this case, okay? Because we have this gap, meaning there's no candle fill in between here and here. So when we have that situation, that gap fill becomes our first target. And then your next target can just be the highs of the preceding wick. So we're going to look for a 1-2-2 rev strat on BIDU. CVX, same thing. 2 down, finish green. We'll look for those calls at 162.60. First target's marked out. Your second target is the trigger for the weekly to go 2 up as well. eBay, inside bars. Let's talk about inside bars. I always do. If you are new or struggling with trading, these inside bars are what you guys want to be looking for. Okay, so an inside bar painted yellow with that strat indicator that I've created for you guys, that inside bar. When you see that, I want you guys to think of a spring being compacted, squished, loaded, tightened, crumpled together, and when that force is removed off of it, we're going to look for a jump to one direction or the other, similar to what we had off of this inside bar right here. We triggered and we hit multiple targets all the way down. So that's what we look for off of those inside bars. We look for those big breaks, those big runs, those big moves. And so we can look for calls at 45.25 and our target is marked out at the top. Or we can look for puts at 44.31 and our target is marked out at the bottom. Now guys, if you like what I'm doing here, make sure you're subscribed down below and click the bell. The bell will give you the notifications for when these live videos are out. They also will give you indicators for when I send out just regular learning tool videos or shorts or what have you, okay? So make sure if you're subscribed, you also click that bell to get your notifications. So inside bar on eBay. Again, if you're struggling, if you're new, if you want to concentrate on just one thing with the strat, which is what you really should do off the start, I always tell people to do the inside bars. So again, we'll look for those calls and we'll look for those puts off of eBay. American Airlines, there's that 2 down green again. I don't have a target marked out, but we can do that together. It's going to be pink, but I'm going to change it to green because my daily targets are green. And that's a really good order of magnitude, or what I would say is good meat on the bones. There's a lot of room for this to move from the trigger to the target on American Airlines. So we're looking at calls at 15.67. My strike price would be $16 on this, and the first target is 16.17. Move on to AMC. There's this inside bar again that you see on AMC. I'm going to put a target to the bottom for you guys because one's not marked out there. And something that people don't talk about, and I think there's a video at the end of this one, or at least there should be or will be, on time frame continuity. And if it's not at the end of this video, make sure you guys go check it out on my channel. So time frame continuity is basically when you have, this is an hour, this is showing on the hourly, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly charts. So each one of these is a chart within here. So if I went to the hourly, it would show me an inside bar on the hourly. So there's that yellow circle telling me it's an inside bar. Okay, so now when I go to the daily, it's an inside bar, it's showing me that, and it's green. Okay, the weekly would show me the same thing, the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly. So this is very important, and a lot of people don't talk about time frame continuity, but this is telling me that there are buyers right across the board on AMC, on every time frame on the year, quarterly, month, weekly, daily, hourly. There's buyers here. Okay? So this has a potential to move back up, or a higher probability to move back up. So we're going to look for calls at $6.24. We've got good magnitude at $6.65 to the upside, or you can take the puts at $5.99 and first targets at $5.91. Now, when I day trade, guys, the week, month, quarterly, and yearly are bonuses for me. So if those are in the same direction as my trade, it's a bonus, meaning it's just a higher probability that that trade is going to work out. Because my trades are only about 3 minutes to an hour long, I don't sit in them very long, then these are the two that I concentrate on the most for day trading. Now, if you want to include that weekly and you're saying I'm not trading unless the weekly is the same direction as well, you're fair to do that, okay? Just gives you a higher probability that that trade is going to move in that direction, okay? So that is a setup on AMC. I like that one for Monday. BAC has a 2 down green, so we look for those calls at 34.29. Good magnitude to the upside. There is our first target at 34.60 on BAC. Beyond, here's a different one. 2 up red with a shooter candle. Okay, so there's 3 actionable signals when we're dealing with the strat. There's the inside bars. That's an actionable signal. There's a shooter candle, which is where we have this body at the bottom and this big long wick to the top. Now, this wick should be 2 times the length of this body. Okay, so we have that. That's a shooter candle. It's an actionable signal. Now, we also have this gap to fill here, okay? So when we have that, we talked about it already. We want the tops of the candles to fill those gaps here, and then your next target, after the gaps are filled, just become the bottom of those wicks, okay? Just like normal. So that's a play on Beyond Meat. We move on to C. That's Citibank. 2 down, finish green. We're going to look for those calls at $50.34. First target at $50.62, and I'll put in that next one for you guys there at $50.91 on Citibank. Inside bar, and I will tell you guys, if you do have questions, you can leave them in the chat. It's on the right-hand side there. Ask questions while we're doing this, okay? And I'll do my best to answer them. Chewy, CHWY, has an inside bar as well, and it's a small, tight little inside bar. And the smaller that bar is, the bigger the breakout that we are likely to have. So we can look for calls at $39.80 or puts at $39.02. And I will mark the targets out with you guys on this one. There's 1 and there is 2. If you guys are wondering how these go, like to do this automatically, and they just go to the wicks or the bodies, on the left-hand side of the screen, there's this little magnet here. That's what will do that for you guys, okay? So from Chewy, we go to Datadog, DDOG, 2 down green. We look for those calls at 77.25. Again, if you guys want the top 5 from this list, that is in the Griswold Gold membership, okay? So calls at 77.25 on DDOG, first target 81.50 there. DIA, the Diamonds, 2 down green. We'll look for calls at 329.14, first target at 332.75. Now, this is a little bit bigger of a price. So what would I be looking for a strike price on the Diamonds? 329, I'd be looking for a 329 strike, or you can look for 330 or potentially a 331, okay? I wouldn't go much higher than that. And then for me, expiries, I take the closest Friday. You want to buy a little bit more time on those things, you can get a couple Fridays out if you'd like, okay? That's a personal trader preference, though. I'm okay with taking the Friday expiries, though. Etsy, inside bars on Etsy, so calls at 129.05, puts at 123.58. The numbers that I'm calling out here, guys, the right-hand side, that's actually a 3-1 setup on Etsy. I didn't notice that outside bar, but that gold highlight that you see there, that's also part of the indicator that I've created. It's included with it. So what it does is it highlights these 3-1 setups. They're very powerful, they're rare, they don't happen very often. So the last one was back in January, beginning of January, and we had this trigger, and we actually ran up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight days before we had this little TTO, and we come back up again. Okay, so the 3-1 setups tend to be very powerful. Again, they don't happen very often, and essentially, yes, it is just an inside bar that we're looking at, but it's preceded by an outside bar. So that pattern itself, that outside bar, inside bar, that 3-1 setup, doesn't happen very, very often. So that's the play on Etsy with that 3-1. EW, Inside bar on Edwards Life Sciences, calls at 77.29, puts at 75.87. Targets are there for you guys. Ford Motor Company, 2 down green. We can look for calls back to the upside at 11.98. Strike price trigger, you can be looking at $12, $12.50, somewhere in that range, okay? First targets and second targets. We'll mark this second target out. There you go. 2 targets marked out for you on Ford Motor Company. GE, General Electric. Okay, so here's a double setup, meaning there's a setup on the day, there's also a setup on the week. So we have this 2 down green, we've got full time frame continuity. I do want to remind you guys that when we open up on Monday, this candle's different, this candle may be different, and this candle may be different. Because when Monday opens, it's a new hour, it's a new day, it's a new week, and then the new month is on the Wednesday, I believe, 27, 20, on the Wednesday. Wednesday, the month will also change over as well. So we'll have a monthly swing list video for you guys on Tuesday night. So triggers here on the daily on GE, 83.78 based on this 2 down that finished green. You also notice those 2 pink lines that are there. Okay, so again, those 2 pink lines represent my weekly chart. There's an inside bar on the weekly, okay? Consolidation candle on the weekly. So we mark the trigger high, trigger low on there. And again, if we trend to the upside with this time frame continuity, what a lot of people don't talk about, if we trend to the upside and hit first targets, well, that first target is also our trigger to go 2 up on the week, okay? So we trigger the day, we trigger the week. There's that domino effect again. General Motors, 2 down green. That's pretty close to a hammer candle, one of the actionable signals we talked about. Okay, it's basically the opposite of the shooter that we talked about, okay? So a wick that's about 2 times the length of the body. We're pretty close to there. Calls at 39.32 and first targets at 41.26. GME. Okay, so GME's got this inside bar and we have this shooter candle. So 2 actionable signals. We've got it looking like it's going to trend down. Time frame continuity, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly is all shooting down. But we'll see what happens. This is a shooter candle. It's a bearish pattern. We also have the 2 pink lines, okay? So if we trigger 2 down on the day, we are triggering 2 down on the week as well. That will be in the weekly swing video as well. So pay attention to that. GME is one to look for on Monday as well. IBM, inside bar with IBM. Let's mark out the targets for you because we have calls with a trigger at 130.67. First target marked out to the top side. First target marked out to the bottom side with puts at 129.22. IWM, there's the 2 down green off of this outside bar. So calls at 187.78. First target, good magnitude at that 190.30 mark. That looks like a good run. Second target at 191.34. Again, if you guys have questions, make sure you're leaving them in the chat. Or if we are not live anymore, you can leave them in the comment section or on Twitter or in the Discord. Coca-Cola, 2 down green. We're looking for calls at 59.91. First target is the trigger for the week. We are stuck on an inside bar on the week as well on Coke. Lucid, LCID, there's an inside bar with Lucid, so calls 8.55, puts at 8.17. Meta, that's the Facebook, calls at 170.72, and let's mark out some targets at 173.69 on Meta. From Meta, we go to MU. Micron Technologies, 2 down, finish green. Calls 58.37. Good magnitude at 59.75 for that first target on MU. Netflix, inside bar on Netflix. And Netflix has had a little bit of a tumble recently, as you can see there. We can look for calls on this one at 321.50. We mark the first targets out there. Puts at 314.52. We will mark the first target there as well, which isn't great magnitude. Your next target, you just go back in time, guys. Find the next lowest wick, and that's right there. Okay, so we have 2 targets for you on the bottom side to Netflix. From Netflix, we'll go to Nike. Let me zoom in on this for you guys. Nike, we are 2 down green, and we'll look for those calls at 118.74. First target's at 120.76. NVIDIA, So NVIDIA's got this 2 down green. It's got full time frame continuity. There's that time frame continuity we talk about again, okay? TFC or FTFC for full time frame continuity. We look for those calls at 234.74 and the first targets at 238.88. Spygirl 7, yeah, I can look at Costco. We'll do it at the very end, okay? Stick around, we'll look at it. NVIDIA, there's the play. In saying that, gaps usually get filled, guys, and there's a bunch on NVIDIA to be filled, and that includes all of these all the way down to here, okay? So pay attention to NVIDIA on Monday. Oracle, inside bar on Oracle. We've got good time frame back to the upside. I appreciate you as well. Okay, so inside bar, we'll look for those calls at 88.89, puts at 87.14, and let's put that target to the bottom side for you guys. Because really, guys, I do these videos for you guys, and without you guys watching them, I wouldn't be putting them out. So I appreciate you guys very much as well. PG, that's Procter & Gamble, 2 down green. It's that hammer candle. Okay, so this is one that shows conflict, and you'll run into these. You'll run into things that have conflict on the day and the week. Okay, so this daily chart is showing me a hammer candle with triggers at 139.43, and then we can mark the target with good magnitude to the upside at 141.14. But when we go to the weekly is showing me a 2 up that finished green off of this inside bar. So the weekly's not saying we're not going to go up on Monday, but this is telling me that there's a high probability that over the week, next week, we're going to possibly go 2 down on the week. Okay, and again, it's all based off of probabilities, and that's what we deal with as traders. Inside bar on Pinterest. Okay, so calls at 25.28, puts at 24.78, and there's only a 1 cent 1 cent move to hit that first target. Not saying that you can't take those trades, guys, but be very cautious, because a lot of times what happens is this candlestick will open here and will trend down and will break through the target, and then it'll reverse and we'll never see that target again. Okay, so be prepared to take your profits or take your small loss off of this if it reverses through here, okay? We like to see those targets with a little bit of jam, a little bit of space on them. Okay, so Palantir is a 2 down that finished green. We are also inside bar on the week. Again, I know that because of these 2 pink lines, and I know that because of this yellow circle around the weekly on the time frame indicator. Okay, so again, if we trigger to the downside, we're 2 down on the week. But if we go up, we've got a ways to get to make this a 2 up week, 2 up on the week. We likely aren't getting there on Monday, but we are stuck inside bar depending on how Palantir reacts on Monday. So we could trigger the week, or we could trigger the day and head up closer to go 2 up on the week. Roblox inside bar, we can call that a hammer candle, so we can look for those calls on there at 37.07, puts at 35.86. Also an inside bar on the week. Again, I know that by my yellow circle. I also know that by my 2 pink lines. Okay, so that's on Roblox. Tesla, 2 down green, hammer candle. We'll look for those calls at 197.67. First target's at 205.14. We are also stuck inside bar on Tesla, so we'll see how that reacts next week. Walmart, 2 down green. We can look for those calls at 142.74. First target's 144.37. XLU, 2 down green. Looks the same as Walmart. We'll look for calls at 66.85. First target's at 67.24. XOM, there's that 2 down green on XOM. So we'll look for those calls on XOM at 110.96. You can take a strike price of 111 or 112. And that should be it, guys. Spygirl 7 wanted me to look at Costco. So let's take a look at what we got on Costco. So Costco is tough because, yes, we do have a 2 down green on Costco. Okay. But this is a doji candle. So this was, if I zoom in on this, this is very close to going either red or green. So could you put a trigger back to the upside on Costco? You could. You could look at taking it back to the upside. But again, it's so tight right here that you could really consider this a 2-up green or a 2-down green or a 2-down red either way. If I go look on the weekly to see how Walmart is reacting, it's 2 down on the week off of this inside bar. So again, I don't really see much of a setup on Costco. You could look at Costco for March. So here's something that I would be looking at for March. It will be on the list because it's setting up that way. But if we look at Costco as this month draws to an end, we have a 2-up red, okay? And my monthlies are always blue. There we go. So I'm going to mark that out already, and we can adjust it as I do the video. But Costco is looking to go 2 up, 2 down on the month, 2-2 reversal. This is in March, though. So in March, we're going to look for this to trigger back to the downside. Spy Girl, is that okay? Does that answer your stuff there? Oh, no, I did it again. Give me a second. There we go. UAL swing for calls. Let's go see UAL. Nakia Underdue's asking me about UAL. So again, UAL time frame continuity showing up. It's kind of stuck in this chop here from a range of, if you want to call it 47.84 up to here. It's just kind of been mucking around in there. So I don't know when her calls are done or when she entered or where she exited. The weeklies are on. We're an outside bar last week, so there was a 50% setup that you could have played there. And here's the thing, guys. UAL, if you want to look at this for March, that's one of our setups here. A 3-1 setup, outside bar, inside bar. Doesn't happen very often. So if we went back and looked, the last time there was a 3-1 setup on UAL, we look for that yellow highlight. And there it is. And this is what we expect, guys. This is what we look for off of those rare setups, 3-1. And we have this big run. So, again, you can look for that on United Airline Holdings for March if we don't break above 52.94 by Wednesday, okay? We can look for this 3-1 setup, full time frame continuity to the upside, and possibly trending up, okay? So I see there's a bunch of you guys in here. If you guys do have questions, ask them now. We've already gone through the list, so again, if you guys have the questions, make sure you guys are asking them. I'm here to help you guys out on these. That's why I'm doing them live, so that we can get your questions answered, okay? So I'll give you guys a little bit of time. If you have them, lay them out for me. There's me. I'm here. Okay. Well, guys, if that's it, the weekly swing list will be out much later tonight. I will go back live again, but it's not going to be till a little later Eastern time. So probably 8:30 Mountain, so that's about 10:30 Eastern. I'll hop back on, and I'll do the weekly swing list with you guys. Do you have a video how to read and understand? Yeah, and that's Spy Girl 7. Yes, I do. So usually it's at the end of this video, or at the end of the videos when I put them out, the daily list. But go into the YouTube channel and search under No Indicator Trading. It's under one of the playlists, okay? So either the Learning Tools or the No Indicator Trading, I believe it's in there, the No Indicator playlist. And it talks about time frame continuity and exactly what it is and how it works, okay? So go check that out. I would recommend it because not a lot of people deal with time frame continuity. With the Strat, we deal with it all the time. It's an important piece and cog of the wheel to use it in deciding on whether we should enter a trade or not. Victor Gonzalez says, when you have a lot of position, is that position? If you have a lot of position, you stick with the ones you have full time frame continuity. So, sorry, say that, you got to explain that a little bit better, Victor. So when you have a lot of POS, setups, you stick with the ones that have full time frame continuity. Yeah, so again, I'll go through this list and I refine this list to a top 5. You don't need to have full time frame continuity to trade, especially on a Monday, because as I said before, this hourly, this daily, and this weekly are all going to be different when we open up Monday morning. Okay, these are all brand new candles when we open up Monday morning. So this United Airlines, these 3 could be red on Monday, and these monthly, quarterly, and yearly could be green. Okay, so you don't need full time frame continuity across the board to make a trade. For me personally, I do the hourly and the daily, but I'm also only in a trade for 3 minutes to an hour. Okay, so for me, the hourly and the daily is good enough. Anything over and above that, then I don't need anything other than that. That's anything over and above that is probability. It's a bonus. It's higher probability that trade is going to work out in my favor. Hey, do you guys have anything else? Spy Girl asks how. So I get this all the time. How accurate is it? How accurate is the strat? How profitable is it? Well, how good of a trader are you? Is what it comes down to. Okay, how good are you at risk management? This strategy and what it is gives you a spot to enter and it gives you spots on where to exit. Okay, but it's the responsibility of the trader and the psychology that you're dealing with as a trader to get out of that trade. Okay, so if there's a trader that's up 20% and they're hoping to get 100 and they hold and it ends up going minus 50, negative 50 on them, well, I can't help you with that because you were at a 20% trade. Okay, so it's a really tough question to ask. So if someone's telling you their strategy is 99% effective or 89% effective, there's no way to measure that because each trader is an individual in themselves when they are trading. Okay? Does what the strat teaches is it successful? It is, but you also have to be a good manager of risk and a good manager of your portfolio in order for it to work. Because, and I always tell people, anybody can press a button to buy and sell a stock. Okay, anybody can press a button to buy, but when that trade goes against you, that you can press that buy and be right 50% of the time. Okay, just like you can flip a coin and be right 50% of the time. So, again, you can buy, press that buy button. Anybody can do that. Any one of us here can do that. But when that trade doesn't go in the direction that you thought it was going to, how good are you at managing that position and getting out of that trade and not staying in it? Okay, how good are you at that? And how good you are at that will determine how good of a trader you are. Because there's guys in our room that they can win 1 out of 5 trades. Okay, that's 20%. They can win 20% of their trades and they still finish green because that one trade that they won might have been 80% or 100%. And those trades that they lost previously, they cut them at 10%. Okay? So if you were a good risk manager, you will be a good trader. It takes time. It's not easy. And it takes some dedication and some learning. Okay? Spygirl7 said, haven't seen anyone using this indicator and it looks like you know your ins and outs. So again, with this strategy, it is a key cog. It's an important piece of what we teach with the strat. There are people that use it, but it's not used by a lot of people. But it is very important because it's telling me right here. We're looking at UAL. This is telling me that I have buyers right across the board. There's buyers on the yearly, the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the hourly. It's telling me that all those candles right now, the last candle that closed or are currently in, are green. That's pointing up. The probability that this thing is going to continue to go up is higher because these are all green. That's what that's telling me. Okay, so go check out that video. It explains exactly what time frame continuity is, how to find it, how it actually works. Okay, is there anybody else that has anything? So, and yeah, thanks, Spy Girl. And the other, she just said it's a very interesting indicator. We'll love to check your video. So go check it out. The other thing you can check out, so if you've never seen this, then you've likely never seen how we manage trades with the Strat. Okay, so go check out the review videos, or I have a couple short videos that I put out on YouTube Shorts. We manage our trades. This strategy, like I said, gives you a spot to get into the trade. It gives you a spot to get out of the trade. And that's something that I struggled with for a really long time. A lot of strategies that I looked at told me where to get into the trade, but nothing told me where to get out or how to manage it. So those videos will show you exactly how to do it. It shows you how when the candles reverse, that's our exit point, or where we come back through our target, that's our exit point. Okay, if we've gone through a target and then it reverses back through that target, that's our position to get out. And maybe it goes up a little higher, or 50% higher, but you should be more than happy at taking 20 or 30% on every trade. Don't let the highlight reels of people's lives on Twitter and Facebook skew your view on what trading is. Because yes, you're going to see people pulling in thousands of percent or thousands of dollars, but those are not a common trade. They're not showing you their losses, what trades they lost to get to that point. So I'm getting some questions come in here, and I lost my train of thought. So I was saying, don't be fooled by those high values. Okay, so I always tell people to focus on the percentages, not the dollar values, because somebody trading with $100 can do 50%, and that's $50. Whereas somebody trading with $10,000 will show you, I made $5,000, but again, it's the same 50%. They just had more capital to trade with. Okay, so don't be fooled by that. Work your account up, and eventually, listen, if you can get, 10, even if you just got 10% a day, that's 50% a week. Okay, that's 200% a month. Okay, now it's hypothetical. I'm not saying you're going to get 10% every day, but that's the basis of it. Okay, hit those small base hits, and those base hits add up to a lot more than trying to hit those home runs. Okay. Black BD 100, what is the purpose of using the candles as the targets? Well, that's the strategy in itself. That's what the strategy is, in its simplicity, I guess, if you want to say. So the candles are all you really need. You don't need indicators. You don't need RSIs. You don't need MACDs. You don't need EMA crossings. The candlesticks tell you where to get in. They tell you where to trigger, and they tell you the targets, because basically a lot of times the wicks are stop losses for bears and bulls, depending on which way you're going. So if you're taking those as your targets and taking your profit there, you're doing better than most traders. Do you use, Victor Gonzalez said, do you use daily? What do you mean because there are stops, Black BD? Victor Gonzalez says, do you use daily time frame for drawing the broadening formations? Again, if you're not far along in the journey of learning the Strat, I would not worry about broadening formations. It's one of the very last things I learned with the Strat, because the Strat is very it's not subjective at all until you get to the broadening formations, because you can draw higher highs and lower lows in a lot of spots. Even in here, you can draw them in a lot of spots. You can draw them from here to here. You can draw them from here to here. There's broadening formations within broadening formations within broadening formations, okay? So it's one of the last things I would really look at. You can draw them on some people draw them on the daily and then trade on the hourly, okay? Some people draw them on the hourly and trade on the 30. For me, for the most part, I try not to draw them on the daily. Mine are mostly drawn on the weekly and the monthly when I do draw them. Stops, yeah, and Black BD's asking stops at the wicks. Yeah, just like I explained in all the videos, your targets are the tops of the wicks. And you don't, when you're going down onto the smaller time frames, like let's say you're taking a trade on the 15-minute, your triggers and targets get set on the 15, go manage it on a smaller time frame, whether that's the, whatever you want to use, 10, 5, 3, 12, it doesn't matter. Use those smaller time frames, and then the candle reversals or the reversal through that target on your higher time frame is your opportunity to get out. Okay. Yes, that's and you just nailed it there. I just saw it now. It stops at the wicks, could create reversals. So get out before or at the, and that's where you want to get out. You guys want to get out at the reversal. So that's what I'm saying. Go check out the review videos that I've created for you guys, the short videos, and you'll see how to move your stop losses up and where to get out of the trade. Okay? So if there's nothing else coming in, guys, I want to thank you guys all for joining in. We're getting more people as I do these more often. So thank you guys for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. Whatever you guys are doing this evening, enjoy it. Get ready for trading on Monday. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you green on all of your trades. Don't overtrade and don't feel like you guys have to trade, okay? Sitting on your hands is also a strategy. So good luck on Monday, guys. Enjoy your evenings, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.